You are now tuned in to Two Studs in a Pod with the dynamic duo of Blaze and Meech, a weekly podcast offering a candid glimpse into the world of super terrific Uber dykes, better known as studs. This week, we're talking about ex-husbands and baby daddies. Love them or hate them, they provided half the DNA that made the kids who popped out of that sexy mom you're dating. We're talking about what it's like to go toe to toe with your girl's BD and how sweet it is when their ex husband makes life easy. Now let's get into it. Yo, Meech, drop that beat. Back to Two Studs in a Pod, everybody. We hope you enjoyed our first episode and are ready to go on this journey with us as we venture into the many topics and many layers of being a stud. This week for us, after our first release, at least for me, has been pretty hectic and crazy. Work has been crazy, trying to get back into the swing of things for the new year. For Christmas, I got my girl a puppy, so we're doing all that potty training and saying a lot of no's for sure. Stop chewing on that. Don't chew my slides. Don't chase the cats. So, a lot of that. We had family over, so that was cool. It's always nice to hang out with family and things like that. I watched a lot of basketball, which is probably one of my favorite pastimes, and helps take my mind off of work. I also got back into working out like I used to again, which has been rough. I did the Peloton thing. My girl bought a Peloton, and now I'm part of the Peloton family.
Good luck.
And it's kicking my ass.
I can imagine.
I will say that. Meech, how's your week been?
Week has been crazy. They've been working me like a runaway slave at the job, as always. But, I get it done. Just trying to get back into the swing of things. Holiday time was cool. Hung out with, wifey's family. It was interesting, but I definitely had a good time. Tried to get me drunk. Yeah, but just, getting back into the swing of things. Got a lot going on. Trying to make some power moves and hopefully get back to the warmth sometime.
Well, this is that time, everybody's in their new year, new me vibes still.
Yeah.
So I think you have like the first quarter of the year to still be doing your new year, new me vibes.
Right.
But time waits for no man and keeps moving. So
Sure does.
that new year, new me soon is gonna be 6 months in, and
Yeah.
if you haven't done anything, there is no new you. Well, today we'll get into the topic of the day is we're talking about ex-husbands and baby daddies. I don't know about you guys or you, Meech, but I've had my share of run-ins with ex-husbands and baby daddies, mostly baby daddies.
Yeah.
Or children's fathers. Not all of them were baby daddies. But yeah, it's been a crazy situation. Like even my very first living girlfriend that had a child, the father wasn't really in his life. So that wasn't ever really an issue that I had. So that's one of the types of baby daddies that there are out there, is the non-existent. Other types of baby daddies, like those that are ex-husbands even, that want the mom back in their life.
Those are the
because they
ones.
messed up. From that sound, I'm gonna take it that you know about that.
Yeah. I've been there.
What's been your experience with the want mom back dad?
Yeah, it's just, I mean, there's a couple of females, but one in particular, her baby father, because they were never married, like he was, non-existent, I guess, until he realized that she moved on and then moved on with a female. And I think his feelings were hurt, like wow. And then he was being disrespectful, trying to get her on the phone, calling late at night. And then, you kind of have to, understand if he's calling about the kid, but then it started getting out of control. Like, you're not just calling about the kid. It's 2 in the morning, baby sleeping, like, what are you doing?
Right.
So yeah, but he confronted me a couple of times, but I put him in his place. Like, look, she doesn't want you. This is about your kid. I don't have a problem with you contacting her about the kid. I don't have a problem with you coming to see the kid. But the second you step out of line, it's a problem. Like, I don't disrespect
Right. Like
you.
there's boundaries,
Right.
bruh. Like you lost the right to
Yeah, you lost
whatever you
her. Right.
did.
That's
Yeah.
so I mean, that's all. I didn't really have to talk to him too many times. After that, he was kind of respectful to me. And I just left it up to her. Like, if you want to fuck with this nigga, then go ahead. I'm not going to war. You
Right.
know when you're being respectful and when you're not. So you shut that down when he's texting or calling you at inappropriate hours or whatever.
Yeah, I agree. There's definitely, like I said, boundaries, and I found that a lot of maybe because they're men, their masculinity feels threatened, especially when there's a child involved. But they tend to really try to show their bravado and
Yeah,
how tough they can be, and that they're a man. Because they're mad, especially when they see that she's with a stud.
yeah,
I think if it was another female or feminine female,
yeah,
they would be less threatened. But when it's a stud, especially, that's really seems to be a trigger.
yeah.
Like I might have mentioned, I believe I mentioned in the first podcast about almost being shot by someone's baby daddy, um, and it was, I don't know, it was crazy because he was just mad that I was a stud. Like he really was. He chased me into the back seat of my friend's car. Well, I was in the back seat of my friend's car,
Mm.
and I mean, her and I, like, we were in the club. She got drunk. She couldn't take that I was vibing by myself, let's say, and she ended up letting him know, like, that's gonna be who I'm with, and that's what it is. Like, we're just here hanging out, and he got really mad because he thought the girl that she was dealing with was a feminine girl.
Oh, so yeah.
Yes, so I mean, we were there with some friends, and they somehow got my drunk ass into the car. And next thing I know, I'm looking up, and my friend is screaming for me to get down, and Buddy is coming through the parking lot
No
with the
way.
gun in his hand
What?
and shoving it into the back seat of the vehicle where I
Oh Lord
where I
Jesus.
was. And I mean, maybe if I wasn't so drunk at the time, I would have peed my pants.
Were you talking crazy though?
But
Because I know you, or you were just
I mean, I think I was in shock.
right.
I was in the back seat of someone's car. We were like in the parking lot of this
Yeah,
club,
you weren't expecting that.
and it wasn't what I was expecting because I didn't know that she was telling him all
Oh, right,
this.
right.
Like I was literally off by myself.
Yeah, how we vibe do our two step.
Right.
Got
Exactly. And we were kind of like a sneak
oh,
situation.
okay.
So when he heard she was with a girl, he was cool or whatever. They could still hang out because they had been friends before they even had a
Right.
kid and all that. But once we were in the club, which it took hell of a convincing to get him in the club because he was this Jamaican dude.
Oh, right.
So imagine getting a Jamaican dude and a straight Jamaican dude inside of a gay
Oh,
club. And so that took some convincing. But once he was in there and we were all just vibing, I mean, she wasn't trying to let on. I think that it was me, the girl that she was messing with. So when she finally revealed it to him while we were there in the club and he had some drinks in him,
yeah.
he just couldn't take it.
I wonder what it
I think
is.
his thought was that he was going to get her back.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely think they feel threatened when they see that it's a stud. But I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
I guess maybe that's another topic for another day, because I don't know.
What about their feeling threatened
Yeah.
about? No, I mean, get into it. What's been
No,
your
just
experience?
I don't like. I don't get it. You know, I guess it's because they realize they don't have a chance with a stud. Maybe that's
Right.
what it is. You know, I think in the back of these dudes' minds, they think that, oh, she's messing with a girl. Yay, I'm about to get down too. And then when they see it's a stud, they're like, oh, nah. Or, a
Yeah.
masculine looking female, they're like, I don't want that,
Yes. I definitely understand that, and I think that is exactly what it is
Right,
because they don't understand why she would want to be with a female that looks like a
right.
guy and not be with him
Yeah, they don't get
who is a guy.
it. They never will.
You know? Right.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I've had some cool experiences with baby daddies too. It wasn't all bad. There was one girl that I was dating, and maybe because we were only dating, we weren't really in like a serious relationship, girlfriend and girlfriend type, but just cool,
Hmm.
doing our thing. That he was cool. I did have date this chick. Oh, this stripper. Oh my god. But her baby daddy was cool.
That's cool.
He was a good dude too. He took on more than just his own kid with her
Oh, that's what's up.
and filled in where need be. So he was a cool dude, Him and I never really hung out,
Right.
but when he would come pick up the kids or drop them off or vice versa, it was never any issues. We never had any words. We actually had a barbecue one time
Oh, that's cool.
um, at homegirl's house, and he came through and chilled, and it was all good.
Yeah, I appreciate the
Uh,
dudes like that. It just makes it easier for everybody all around, especially the kids.
yes, yeah, yeah, especially for the kids because it's important for them to have all the love that they can
Right.
while they're growing up.
Yeah. My first I guess serious relationship was with a female. She had two kids, and at first, like, her baby daddy felt threatened, and cuz he
Mm.
had met me, and like we worked together, and like we hung out a couple times, and then I guess when I don't know how she told him or whatever happened, like there was tension, because he was like, damn, I gave this bitch a ride home, and now now she your girl. But yeah, it took us a while. It took us a little
How the
while.
tables turn.
Yeah. I actually ended up, like, we moved out of state, and I actually used to pick him up and take him down with me when I would make the trips so he could see the kids, and like, we would all be in the house, and just he would be able to hang out with the kids and not have to worry about no tension or anything like that. So I thought, like, that part of the relationship ended up working out really well.
Uh, I had this interesting baby daddy situation with this girl where her and her partner, female partner in a previous
Hmm.
relationship, had um, kids. I had a kid together, and they used this donation
Oh,
from a friend guy, and it turned out in the end that the guy really was in love with the
oh
girl.
wow.
Yeah, and the girl who ended up being my girl, not the stud that she was with, but and did everything he could. I found out later to ruin their relationship
Damn.
so that he could try to get her. And then when I came around, did everything he could to ruin our relationship so that he could try to get her. And he did actually in the end because they ended up getting
Oh
married
wow.
and they're divorced
Oh,
now. And I believe they had another kid or two along the way.
it's a whole lot going
So
on right
yes,
there.
yeah,
Dodge
that was
bullet.
a sneak baby daddy. That was not.
Yeah, that
That was
wasn't supposed
not.
to be.
Most say that
That I
again.
wasn't supposed to be there. Like, like a real baby daddy
Right.
situation.
Like you were just supposed to be like a sperm donor, and you came in and
Right.
tried to
Gotta
create a
watch
family.
those.
Right. They think we're sneaky.
Right?
Okay. Find a baby daddy scorned. Well, you sitting there crying every night, plotting on
Right.
your demise. I felt like one time I was a baby daddy, but maybe that's a different topic for a different day.
Maybe. I know we could definitely get into, the kid situation another day.
Oh yeah, but that's even. I mean, it's not the kid's
No.
fault, and it's not. I find it's not the stud's fault either for falling in love with the kid or
Yeah, no.
taking on that role.
Yeah, how
But
bad,
like
especially if
yeah,
you're trying to build a family with somebody, you're trying to be with them, you have to accept their
right,
kid as well.
right. I haven't really had a situation of too many ex-husbands. I don't think. Um, One woman that I dated, she did have an ex-husband, but I don't know. That was a weird situation all to begin with.
Yeah.
I sound like such a hoe when I talk about these past relationships, but
It's all right.
it is what it is.
Facts. You said you've been this way since high school, right?
Yeah, I know I've had a long time to fill in the dates.
Yeah. Yeah, I think mostly it's
Um,
been baby daddies. A lot of them were non-existent for me, so that helped. But then that brings up the topic of, I guess, studs ended up being baby daddies, and
right.
I think only one. No, actually, there was two ex-husbands, but one was non-existent. I don't even think she knew where he was to get the divorce, so I guess
Mm.
that doesn't count. And another one, ex-husband. He's involved in the kids' lives. We met, um, but we don't really have a relationship. So, but I'm cool with that as long as he's good with the kids and he's respectful. I don't mind.
Yeah, definitely. When you're dealing with um, so, a baby daddy or an ex-husband, even that's in the picture, respect between all parties involved is very important.
Yeah.
You don't want, I mean, even just for the kids' sake, but for for your relationship with the mom's sake,
Hmm.
you don't want any issues there. Sometimes that could be a testy waters for people. I believe. I know that I had a friend who was dating a woman who had like 3 or 4 kids, and the ex husband was not the best character to be around. He was heavy into drugs and stuff, and he would come over high and wilding all the time to their home. It really caused a rift in between their relationship
Yeah.
because the mom wants him to be around for the
Right.
kids, but you know, her as the other person relationship is like, I don't need to live with this.
Yeah. Yeah. That's another thing. Like, you as the stud have to make a choice as to whether or not you want to deal with the ex husbands or the baby daddies. Like, so that I feel like is an added strain. Maybe not strain, but an added thought, I guess, when you get into it.
Or just like an added
Yeah.
pressure on your relationship. Yeah. I mean, it's already hard enough trying to just maintain a solid foundation with the person that you're with and grow together
Right.
and evolve together because two people change over time. You know, you're not the same person you were 8 years ago, even 8 months ago.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of other baby daddy situations. I mean, there was one I got into a fight with this one, like fist
Oh
fight
no.
with this dude, but he was saying disrespectful
I bet.
things
Yeah. But I mean,
to my girl.
oh,
Yeah, he was not saying disrespectful things to me per se. We kind of just ignored each other for the most part. But it was a time when it was a kid's birthday party in the park.
hmm.
It was a rumble in the jungle. I mean, I think um, alcohol had a little bit to do with it. As most of my rumble stories begin, we were drinking, and he was getting disrespectful, and I feel like maybe it was because of my presence, but I don't know. Alcohol tends to bring out the truth for some
Right.
people. And even though he seemed cool when we were all sober, I think definitely he had one too many Heinekens or something, and he started being disrespectful to her. And I said something to him
Mhm.
like, "Yo, chill. You're not gonna be able to talk to my girl like that. Like with me standing right here, that's not gonna happen." And since he didn't have a gun, I was ready to fight.
No root tootin' shooting this time.
No room to shoot, I mean, come on, bro. If you were sitting in the back of a car, drunk as fuck, and somebody comes and puts a gun in your face and tells you not to touch their blood clot wife ever again,
Yeah. I probably would have peed my pants. I don't know how you kept it together.
I just remember hearing my homeboy, gay as hell, yelling in the front seat. Him and his boyfriend, roll up the window, roll up the window. And I'm like,
Oh,
what?
yeah.
And here's this gun in
Lit.
my face.
Damn.
Crazy Jamaican guy yelling at me in patois and everything else, telling me to leave his wife alone. But I'm like, ex-wife, right?
That's the story I got.
Ex-wife.
X.
Yeah, that part. Cause she lives with me, bro. So I don't know what's going on. But man, yeah, dudes definitely feel threatened. And the fist fight went okay. I think we got pulled off of each other before it really got too bad. But I think people were surprised too because obviously he's a man and I'm a woman, but I'm a big woman.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like almost 6 feet tall, and we're not gonna talk about the pounds, but I'm not, a skinny little thing. So, and I'll rumble, and I'm from Miami.
Yeah.
Hello,
Yeah.
you already know that equals a rumble.
That's wild.
um, I don't. I think that's like my wildest, crazy baby daddy stories. It's just interesting to me to see the different types of baby daddies that there are
Right.
and the different roles that they play. Obviously, my favorite one would have to be the ones that are cool with everything and know how
I'm
to play the
mature.
role and are just there for their kid.
Yeah. Mature and have moved on. Don't want the girl back and take
Right,
care of their responsibilities.
right.
The deadbeat ones are just deadbeats.
And I mean, the deadbeat ones aren't bad, but I mean, not for
Yeah.
me, for the kid, yes. And for my girl financially,
Yeah.
yes. But if I don't have to deal with them, then I mean, that's less stress. But I would prefer that if you help me create this kid and the
Yeah.
intent was for you to be a part of the child's life, then you should be. Whereas I had a situation where the intent was for you to not be a part of the child's life, and here you are
Just showing up to
trying to move in.
everything.
Oh, wait, you did. I mean,
Yeah.
baby daddies can't live with them, that's for sure. And the kids wouldn't be here without them.
Yeah. That's true. So,
Another interesting type of baby daddy, and I think we briefly mentioned this, is the stud who believes that they are the baby daddy. Um,
yes.
After you said that, I did recall a time where I was with this girl and she had a son, and every time her stud baby daddy would come over to the house, she would like hide me in her room.
Oh wow.
Right. And I didn't realize what was like happening, but I still felt like she was using me as a personal babysitter. But
Uh,
every time this girl would come over, she would make me go in the room and act like she would like send me in the room to do something that would
mm,
like just make me be in there. And she would have this girl would come over and she would come over to see their son.
wow.
And I was so young. I was probably like 16, 17 when this
Man,
was happening.
you so
So I
young.
mean, I didn't know any better. I definitely wasn't into my fully grown self confidence yet.
Right.
I was still a baby gay, a little a little baby stud, and she was older, obviously.
Yeah.
So that was kind of crazy to experience a stud baby daddy who
Yeah.
was kind of like a, a dude baby daddy.
Mm,
Like
how so?
came over, played with the kid a little bit, gave her some money for the kid, which is maybe why she allowed this to happen.
Oh,
And
probably.
was gone and had her own life and her another a girlfriend somewhere else and was like doing her own thing, but would come over and visit and like pick him up for
Mm-hmm.
weekends, like regular parent sharing type thing.
Oh,
Um, I finally did meet her, and I mean, she was cool. She had no idea who I was, which
oh
that
wow.
speaks more to the mom than to her. But I mean, I didn't realize she was like a stud baby daddy. Just now while we were talking about it, like, yeah, that is a
Yeah.
stud baby daddy.
It's a thing.
Have you had any stud BD encounters?
Yeah, actually I have. So yeah, so it's like the kid's father is involved, but then like her ex thinks that she's their daddy too. So
Mm.
it's like I got to deal with two different people. Like I'm not doing that. I don't. I mean, I don't have a problem, because the kids
That
got
pussy better be A1 Perico for me to
right.
be dealing with that.
You feel me? Um, she was involved in the kids' lives, but that's like that's a lot to put on somebody. But
Yes.
eventually, she started trying to give my girl ultimatums like, "Oh, I don't want her around my kids, and if she's gonna be around my kids, then I'm not gonna come see them anymore." And I'm like, "Okay, that's how I know you're not a real parent, because first of all, nobody's stopping me from seeing my kids."
Right.
You know. So eventually, she just fell off. I mean, I get it, because I've been involved in children's lives, and that's that's I don't like to just disappear. I feel like we can be adults about it, and if they're asking for me, I definitely would like to see them and whatnot. But I've never been like I'm the daddy, you
Right.
know. I'm the daddy. Hear me roar, trying to puff out my chest and take
I
over.
did. I mean, I did almost get myself caught up as being like a baby daddy, but I avoided that. And I guess in that initially I was acting a little baby daddy ish, but I mean, this is with the same chick that used to hide me in the bedroom when her
Oh,
other stud baby daddy would come over,
got you.
which eventually stopped. And then it was just, us
Hmm.
until it wasn't. And then I was that stud baby daddy coming over to check on the
Yeah.
kid, and she was hiding somebody else in her bedroom. So,
Oh shit.
yeah. The kid kind of told on her, like, oh, so and so's in the bedroom. You guys want to hang out? Or something like that. Like, whatever his little kid talk is. It was
Gotta love
like,
kids.
oh, so and so's in the bedroom. And I was like, oh, really?
I know
I
how that
remember those
goes.
days.
Yo, but how do you feel about that? Like, I kind of feel like it's like, okay, the stud is okay with doing things as long as nobody else is in the picture. And then as soon as like as soon as I showed up, she had a problem with it. But I feel like if you're really there for the kids, then what's the problem? You know?
I think even stud baby daddies have that same, like, she's always going to be mine type
Mm,
thing. Because if you feel like you're the baby's daddy, then you're like that invested
right.
in, per se, the mom, not even the kid, but the mom. Because, I mean, look at how many times people get played by kids because the person is trying to impress the mom.
Right.
Like I know somebody with kids that would let whoever, not whoever, you know what I'm saying, but like take the person who they were like, per let's say dating or whatever, take their kids out and just have their kids like order everything off the menu.
Oh wow.
I think that that was cool, you know, like
Yeah. Taking advantage.
yeah, for them, but not for the person who's really thinking that they putting some work in to try to get your attention
Right.
or
Right.
gain your interest, you know. And I mean, that's why I didn't, I never wanted to be necessarily a baby daddy. I mean, like I said, I did get myself caught up that one time, but I was also very young and, you know, she turned around and was hiding somebody else in the bedroom. So,
Mm.
uh, it's, I guess, I don't know if this is weird or not, but I guess one of the best baby daddy situations, the best and the worst was with um, an exotic dancer and her baby daddy situation because there was a couple of them
A couple of
and
exotic dancers or baby daddies.
baby daddies. I mean, I've dated a couple of exotic dancers, but we'll talk about that in another
Hey,
podcast. uh, yes, in my like early to mid 20s, I had this thing versus strippers, and
it's Miami.
yes, it's the Miami for
Yeah.
sure. They
When I
get
got
bucket
there, I had
booty
to
naked. While that was happening, you know, that was a horrible relationship, but the baby daddy situation was interesting. I was gonna say it wasn't bad, but that's a lie. It was interesting because like one was super cool and chill, and the other one was just obviously scheming the whole time.
oh wow.
Dudes, I tell you. But I mean, like I said, if it wasn't for them, then these kids wouldn't be around. Some of the kids have been pretty cool, and it did teach me a lot. Like I don't want to have kids of my own, so I have to, I guess, thank them for that.
Yeah.
And thank them for everything because if they hadn't been maybe like part of the problem for some of these situations, maybe I would still be in them.
Yeah. I think eventually you would have probably realized it wasn't working.
Yeah,
Hopefully.
because not like it's not like every woman that I've dated had kids, so there wasn't
Hmm.
always a big daddy situation or ex husband situation. I don't know which would you what do you feel better about, like knowing your girl was married to a dude or just that she slept with a guy and ended up getting pregnant?
I think knowing that she was married, like, and it was just, well, for the situation, like that's how the kids came about, and the kids have both parents who want to actively be involved in their lives.
Hmm.
Dudes are dudes. I think, some dudes can do more ex-husbands or baby daddies.
Yeah, yeah, I would have to say I agree because I mean, not everybody comes out in high school like I did, you know, and there's a lot of pressure, especially on more fem women, even studs, because you see studs that have kids
Yeah.
and maybe were married at some point, and then you know they were feminine and then they transitioned to being a stud eventually. But you see that there was pressure, societal pressure to get married
Yeah.
and procreate. Like that's
Right.
what you're basically taught from fifth grade
Yeah.
if you don't already understand it yourself. Well, these kids nowadays they probably understand it in pre-K with
Facts.
YouTube and stuff. But so I mean, yeah, I can understand that. I mean, I also can understand the oops baby.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, my parents were married and I was a oops baby myself. So oops
And I
happens.
mean, things happen. I just feel like at the end of the day, it basically just all boils down to respect, if it's a baby daddy or if it's an ex-husband. And my partner being respectful to me and understanding the situation that like I'm clearly walking into a situation knowing that you have an ex-husband or a baby father.
Mm.
And I'm still choosing to be with you,
Mm-hmm.
but so don't disrespect me. And I don't feel like I should have to tell you that, like if it's given, like that's even better. If I have to talk to you, I'm only telling you once,
Mm.
you know. That's just how I feel about that.
Maybe they do need that communication because they don't get it. Their perspective on that is not the same as yours.
Mm,
And this is somebody that they've known intimately, even if only for a moment, only for a night. And somebody who may help it's always going to be their child's father.
right.
Like that's always going to be their child. That's always going to be their child's father. I mean, unless he's non-existent, even if he's a piece of shit, he's still
Yeah.
their child's father. And a lot of women, even now, tend to not want to disparage him, especially in front of the children. And I don't know many. I mean, unless he's a really, really a bastard, that they may disparage him for you, even
Mhm.
being off the strength that is their child's father. And so they're connected forever.
Right.
You and her don't have to be. So that I always think about that as maybe a thought that could arise in my girl's head. Not my girl right now, but
Yeah.
a woman I was with who had kids. Like, would you, not to say that they're sides, but would you take his side over my side
Mhm.
in in that type of aspect? Like, if it ever came to that, I would hope that you would take my side since we're together and this is our relationship and we're supposed to be building a future. But
Right.
I mean, like I just said, that's their child's father. Like their child wouldn't be here without that person. That counts for a lot in a lot of people's book, I believe. That's why the baby daddies are just cool with everything and have moved on and living their own life and are really only there for the kid are the best.
Facts.
Yeah. Well, I think that's enough about baby daddies.
Facts.
Let's get these dicks out of here and
Let's
move
get back
on
to this.
to brighter, better things.
Yeah.
While we do appreciate all of you, baby daddies and ex husbands, and we thank you for creating the children that our girls so love, and we do too. Um, Goodbye, and we're done with you. Bye bye, baby daddies. If you need
Oh,
more stud in your life, you can find us on IG and Twitter at Two Studs in a Pod, where we're providing stud centric content. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to shoot us an email, reach out to us at two studs in a pod at gmail.com. That's TWO studs in a pod at gmail.com. We may even select your question or comment to share on an upcoming episode. Two Studs in a Pod is available wherever you listen to podcasts. Be sure to tune in next episode to hear what an adventure it's been to be gay going through TSA.
yes. Thanks for tuning in.
See you next time.